Welcome. My name's Brian Knight, and I live near Melbourne in Australia, and it's just turned 5:30 in the morning on a Friday for me. Um, for me, it's the last sort of 24 hours of this trading week until, sort of there's Christmas, then New Year, and things are sort of crazy in the market around there until we start back into January. Let me just share this screen. Start with. Welcome, Darren. So this is a welcome to this live Forex analysis session. And there's a few notes there. There is a full risk disclosure. And there is also a little note about us as live session traders. Welcome, John and Helen, too. Thank you. Right, we'll just go across over to the charts and have a look. As I sort of said, nothing sort of happened much. Did you survive, Darren, any of those ones that were close?
USD CHF. I didn't survive that one, but survived the others at the moment. So
USD CHF. Right. Yeah, okay. Right, yeah. Okay. Seems to be that sort of cleaning up at the end of December and the end of the year, really, isn't it? And okay. Well, let's look at, again, I'm just going to go to, rather than the 1 hour, we'll just go through the dailies and see where they're sitting. My comments from yesterday are I'm just reiterating, because of this is a more longer term type trading strategy. We're looking at the trends continuing over time. I think that a lot of these sort of trade opportunities for where they are currently are going to sort of maybe come to the front sort of in the early sort of January stage, where you see some of the others some of these things, like, for example, that was June 23. Where is it? If you look, that was about the end of January when it sort of turned here. I'm not saying it will in January, but it's like there is that opportunity for that. It has sort of come up and met and broken that. I mean, it could go further. But with the settings I have, this price on AUD CAD is well out of the lines, the boundaries, and there are a number of indicators sort of throwing their weight into it going into more of a sell direction. You see where it sold and sold there, where it bought and bought. So the more of these there are, it's a little bit sort of sideways in this pivot. The more of these that there are, the more indication that we'll potentially push into more of a sell trend over a period of time. Yeah. So we're just going closer on this. So this is where sometimes the strategy is a little, how do I put it? Sometimes the market reacts. It depends on where it's at and what pairs are. But for example, sell but not get in because there's no short or change. Sell, don't get in because there's no short or sell. Then we get a short on here after this, and then we get another sell, and we get a change of the trend bar. This normally would be a good opportunity for a sell and for it to continue that trend, but it has spiked back up above previous prices, which, in these circumstances, for example, here you get a sell and a short, and it can spike back But then it goes into the actual trend direction that it has indicated, for example. And that can be typical. I mean, you look here, even you get a triangle and a short, one triangle and a short, and then it's just sell out. Yeah. So here, with the settings I have on daily, there's a number of cells, but it's spiked back up. So sometimes this is what it will happen. And this is like the end of the year and just what the pair's deciding to do. This indicator is predicting some sort of a sell, but I'm not sort of trusting in that. It's just something that Tom had given us. What's it called? A neural something or other. Can't remember now. What is it? No, it's not popping up. Anyway, where is it? Neural showcase. Aliens. Right. So that's AUD CAD, and what I'm looking for is, I mean, I did take this trade and lost when it came back. So, and it wasn't a big loss anyway, so I wasn't too concerned. But what I'd be looking for is, that spike back out and broken that high. So the high there, it's actually pushed back in the last 24 hours. So again, it's rallying up. And it changed here. We got along yeah. So this has to actually change what it's doing to get into that sell, and then potentially we can have a trend back down for a considerable amount of pips, maybe. If it comes down here, 400 or 500 pips, we'll see. Right. Questions? No? Yes? Maybe?
Just the hi Brian.
Oh,
The little red triangles, that's the X48, isn't it?
correct.
It's all right. Mine's obviously had a bit of a hiccup because it's not showing them at the moment. Thank you.
Are these dashed lines on your chart?
Yeah, I've got the dashed lines, but only for the last how long? Not for very long. They kind of stop after a period of time.
Back here?
They're doing about 10 days, 12 days.
Is that all? Okay.
Mm.
These are my settings
Oh,
on the
I'll play with it.
These are my settings, Helen, on the daily.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. They've only
Darren's
just disappeared. I've obviously done something wrong. They just disappeared today. Thank you.
right. Okay. I bet the style has got this. It's okay. Rightio. Well, they're the settings I have, and there's a number. Darren probably doesn't have maybe as many of these. I like to sort of, get to see in there. But AUD. Look at all of the AUDs. This is sort of what's happening. There's a bit of sideways and popping up to take out stop losses, and then dropping back down again. So even though this was a buy, it did come back down and finish there for the day. So that was quite a large move there last week. Right, AUD Again, this is if we wait for a high to low, it came back into those. Actually, I might take that off because we can see that anyway. Don't need that. There is no indication of it either selling or buying in this last period of time. So we're going to wait for it to give us some indication there anyway. AUD-CHF. JPY. We'll just wait for the. There we go. So it was the buy, as far as the triangles are concerned, it did have a buy and a long. And if you're in that trade, what are you probably, it could be in negative because you could have waited for that long and then got into the trade there and it's just pulled back. And again, I'm not, I didn't decide to get into that trade there. When was this? 2 or 3 days ago. It just was in the middle. See where it's like crossed over the middle of these dotted lines, and it tends to either continue or pull back to it. And what it did is it pulled back to it. We could have continuation, but one of the things is just seeing what it does at that point. Again, this time of the year is just low volume, high volatility. The best thing would be to wait until, say, first week of January, see where things are sitting at that point. Because it's sort of lots of things just put on hold. AUD NZD. So wait for that. All right. So this is also well, if you trade this pair, I don't tend to. There is a couple of buys there, that buy, but you didn't get along until that, and it's sort of just gone sideways from that point. Price is up there. Oh, you could be in positive by this time anyway. If you went triangle long, was that candle at some point when it finished, if you got into there, price is now above it. But you would have been in drawdown. I think Darren and I were discussing it yesterday that typically with this strategy, but not always, once you get, say, for example, in this situation, once you get the couple of indicators together to talk about the trend direction, that there will potentially be a pullback and potentially some drawdown before it sort of moves into more positive territory. That's more typically of what occurs. Except, you'll get a sell and a short and down it goes, pulls back a bit. It didn't challenge it, but then you get another short. Like, for example, if you have that and you're waiting for the short there, then that just drops down. So you do have different scenarios, but typically, if you look at this only, you get green triangle, get the long, change on the trend bar. You wait until you get that long, right? Then you'll potentially get in on the next candle. Then it could be that sort of drawdown and then into some more positive territory. Yeah. Are I following that, or does that make sense to people? I mean, of course, we differ in different currency pairs and different situations. That's something that you can sort of see how much it goes in drawdown is. It's just up to the pair and what the market is. I mean, Darren's in quite a few that are, or he's in some anyway, that have got a considerable drawdown. He's got stop losses. I think, Darren, you're saying you got stop loss out where these green triangles are.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah.
Rather than back at currency, or a price. Right, AUD Singapore. Thanks, Darren. So, you know, this from here, this point, which is back in November, middle of November, this is pushed back up. But there was no indication here. It was back over here for that buy direction. And true to its indication, it's done what it's going to do. We have got a sell and a short, but a pullback. If you got into this on that short and that sell, you would have been potentially, well, you would have been knocked out of that trade if you follow the rules of this strategy. We are getting another sell again, or potentially we need to get a short and then potentially into a sell. We'll just have to see. Yeah. So that again for the new year. AUD USD. Oh, pushed up in the last. So if you look at to the left, you got the highs, pushed down, a number of green ones here, up it went. Price has been for quite a few weeks pushing up. This was a sell, had a short, and it's come back and broken it. So I got into this trade on that short, and it came back and knocked me out. Right? You can't win every trade.
Yeah, I got knocked out of this one. I said USD CHF earlier. That's not correct. I'm still in that one. This was the one that knocked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had your, because I think we were talking about this yesterday, and I asked you, and like you said, oh, we're still just in, but
Yeah.
yeah. And so now, and it has another potential sell opportunity, but we'll need to have a short and a change in the trend. And again, I don't know, but I'm forecasting potentially early January, we will potentially have a turn in this currency. The RBA don't meet until February. So they meet the first Tuesday in February. All of the indications currently are that they're not going to do anything. After the Fed spoke and basically upset the market for us, or just for me and Darren anyway, basically the indication is that a lot of the banks are just going to wait for the inflation, which is now starting to sort of drop down. You saw the article, Darren, that I put in about busy. The article I put in about the UK, you were mentioning about them.
Yeah.
What happened? It just sort of gives a little bit more indication of why the price of the British pound sort of had dropped off. So
There's still some mixed comments within that article, though, wasn't there? You're reading it and thinking, oh yeah, that's understand that, and then there's a comment that suggests, well, maybe it won't do that. It might do this instead, and you by the end, thinking, well, they really don't know which way it's going to go.
Well, it's sort of like a journalist forecast. They want to have a bit each way there. True, but it still has the overall of the market has done what it's done because of what the central banks have done. The indication is that they've been pounding on the interest rate. They're just now going to wait until inflation drops down to here in Australia. I don't know about what it is in England or US. Here, though, they want it between a 2% and 3% inflation figure, right? Around the 2.5 sitting, but it's how do you land on that is interesting. But that's their sort of mandate of where the government tells them that that's where they're supposed to work in. And as it drops down, of course, they're going to be looking and saying, well, if we keep the restriction on the monetary stuff and have higher interest rates, what's going to happen is we're going to fall down below 2% even, and then it's going to be hard. So what they'll need to do is time it so they start cutting interest rates so that it sort of stops going below that 2%. But on the other scale, here it got up to 8 or 9% inflation. So they were slow in putting on the interest rates to actually stop it from going up too high. So to get them to be able to stop it when it goes too low is probably very much on the other end of the scale. So we'll just see what happens. Yeah. Anyway, so that potentially in February, so it could be end of January, start of Feb before we really see these AUDs do what I'm suggesting may occur. But my sort of thoughts will be sort of start to mid-January, we may see these move and then continue in that trend direction. Okay, CAD CHF. Again, been a sell and a short out, and it's sort of, if you look at this as a overall, we've broken the low, and then it's just going sideways. So what I'd expect is for it to do to go into a buy direction, but it just, we've got a number of these green triangles and longs, but it still just hasn't got the volume and momentum to actually take off into buy direction. And that'll come back to this, CAD strength or Swiss franc weakness. And the CAD strength will have to rely, well, it will match up with US strength, which is not there currently as well. So that also may happen in the new year. We'll see. But it will continue to sell but this is just a sideways. And out of a sideways movement, you'll always get a push up or down, quite a significant one, bit like, sort of this over here. This didn't go sideways. Where we go? Say here, you can see where that was sideways for a bit, and then off it went. Similar sort of thing. You'll see this jumping around, and then it'll take off. We just got to be ready to be able to catch whichever way direction it goes. There's another CAD JPY. That has already in that long. So okay, let's wait for that. Wait for triangles. We'll just so here triangle, but see how it's come up and pull back, and we don't have a long. What we've got now is triangle and a long, and there was a change on the trend bar, but it's gone red again. All right, and see how it's pulled back down here. So what I'd be, so how do I put this? Potentially, because of what we've got here, potentially this is buy direction, but it's just doing this little pullback now before it starts to potentially go into buy. So if this breaks, if this comes down, so at the moment, this, if it pulls back down and comes and breaks the low, well, it's still going to sell. I'm not in this trade, but what I'm looking for is for this to buy. So we may not get another green triangle or another long. But I'm going to look to see whether it breaks there or whether it'll push back up again, because it's, as I sort of said back in one of those AUD pairs, this is the sort of the pullback before it starts to go in the buy. And you can see where it's done a significant sell. It's more likely to come back up to here and or here before it sells back off again, potentially. Yeah. You see that? So it has come up, gone, so sold, come back here, dropped out, pulled back up. This is a little drop here. So it could continue to sell. So that's why I'm not in the trade. Now, what you could do, you see that pull back down here, could always, if you want, at the top here or even here, put in a buy stop. So if it does pull back and up here at some time, you could preempt that. If not, and it keeps pulling back down, well, you're not going to be in the trade anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. So that's one that you might want to look at. It's in a sort of a nice situation at the moment. The only Swiss franc beginning currency, which is FHF JPY. Just wait for the bars to come in. Any of you need to comment, just to chat in anyway. So here we are, buy, see I pull back down again, another buy, pull up, create a long, and then it's pull back down. Right? What I'm looking for is for this to buy. Again, this is a similar situation as CAD-J. You could look at putting in around the middle here of the channels a buy stop if you want. If this continues back down again, well, doesn't matter, you're not going to be in the trade. But certainly a potential buy opportunity after this sell. It has come up here, pull back. I'd look at this potentially to come up and break the high up here. The reason why is because it hasn't broken low down here. Yeah. And if it does come back down again, well, it doesn't matter, you won't be in the trade. Okay. Euros, we ready to look at those? Yes, good. So Euro AUD, again, if the Aussie dollar weakens, then we'll get a turn on the Euro AUD. Let's see, wait for it. Yeah, buy. But there is no long and no change in the trend bar. This is just defining the purpose of it at the moment. And you can see where all of this has broken that previous low there. It hasn't broken this low. It could come down to this area, but that's, I don't know, it needs to push back up from these, but that doesn't mean it won't continue down. So this is one I'm going to be watching early in the new year as well. Euro AUD, Euro CAD. I'll wait for the channels. So we now have one buy with a long before it. We have another short. So I think we're going to be waiting here for some more triangles. Yeah. So this may push down further. It may come down. If you look at it, there's imbalance back down here. There is prediction of that, but we'll see. It's not ready. Well, you wouldn't have got in that anyway, because you can see where the long here was before this triangle. So what I'd be waiting for, and lots of this stuff's going sideways. I'll be waiting for it to drop down, give us another green triangle and a short and a long before I'd look at potentially getting into that trade. All right, so a wait and watch situation on Euro CAD. Euro CHF, we've had a really big drop, that push up, and if you look at it, there's probably a green triangle and a long there, but then the shorts come in and pushed it back down. See the number of green triangles? So it hasn't broken that low that it was at, pull back, and then it's sucked back up here. So again, if you got in on that long, Well, I don't know. Did you got into this, Darren, did you? You would have got into this, wouldn't you, for a long and a would be if you did, you're in considerable drawdown at this point. So that's the Euro CHF. So this is sort of like an end of the year type, it looks like, because it's doing it in a lot of currency pairs, all those AUDs and the euros. It's doing this sort of thing where it says I'm going to take off and then it just pulls back down again. Yeah, Euro GBP. If you were not in this, it may be too late. Well, maybe not, but you've got buy, long. See how it pulled back down again and then took off? You see what I was saying from before? Typical sort of.
I've got to go now, Brian. So there's some stuff to
Yeah, no,
do.
it's Joe.
Have a
All the
good.
best. You got to stuff the turkey or?
Well, I've got to go and pick it up actually from Marks and
Oh,
Spencer's.
right, okay.
Oh, I've got my
No worries.
slots 7:30 slot, so best get on my way. So
Yeah, no worries. Better do that. Oh, well, all the best for you for Christmas and New Year.
and
I probably
you,
won't be. I
everybody.
won't be back until after the start of New Year.
All right, yeah.
We'll
No,
notify
fair enough.
now. But everyone have a bit of a rest and see how things go. If you want, you can still comment in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But all the best. All right then.
Okay, thanks
Thanks.
a lot. Thanks for everything. Cheers.
See you,
Thanks.
No
Darren.
worries, Darren.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
So we'll just keep going through these pairs then. So again, if you can see where you've got triangle, you got long, you got to change. If you had have got in after that long, that's a sell. You wouldn't have probably decided to get in there. It's pull back and then you get another triangle. That's probably a better opportunity. Now, this is not, well, not necessarily late, but it is late for this sort of strategy as such to get into this trade for buy. But there is imbalance up in here, so potentially going to push up higher. Euro JPY. Now we have big sell out there. We do have a long, and if you see, come on. There we go. Triangle, triangle. So we've got one there and a long, but this is the pullback, right? So again, here's an opportunity to put a buy stop in. So after the pullback, look at a surge potentially to go up. Yeah. Well, this prediction is it's going to sell. So if you put a buy stop here, and it does continue down, well, you haven't lost anything, have you? But I tell you what, if it does surge up, you'd be kicking yourself. So you're at NZD. This again, we had some, you'll see there'll be some green triangles. There's a long, and then the short comes in and pushes it back down and spikes people out. Come on, where is it? No, right. Need to change the time. Then come back. Hopefully it'll make it then. There we go. Yeah, green, green, green. We get along, get into it, and then it pulls back down. This is I didn't get into this trade, but certainly that would knock you out. Your stop loss potentially. Again, I'm looking at this to come back. I mean, you can see there's heaps of imbalance up here. So potentially it is to buy. It's just wasn't ready. Yeah, undercooked. So Euro Singapore, that has taken off. So yeah, you get the long push up and then we get a pullback. This one would have been okay. If you wait, we'll just see there's green, obviously green triangles down here. No, it doesn't want to do it. Okay. Go back to there and there. Sometimes that X48 just takes a while to. There we go. No, there is no green triangle there. Right. So you wouldn't have seen this one to. There's a long and a change, but no green triangle. So it depends on whether you would have got into that or not. Where would that be? With the long there, you would get across into here. I mean, that's 90 pips or so. Rightio, Euro USD. If you're on that Euro Singapore, if you're going strictly to the letter of the strategy, you would probably have not got into that. Yeah. Because there is no triangle there. Okay, Euro USD. It's saying sell, but it's going sideways, right? Again, here, you have a long and it's bounced off the middle and then pushed back up again. Just sort of more weird type stuff. If you look how, you look here, the push up, all down, now it's pushed back up. It has failed to break this high. So I'd be looking for it to sell. We do have a sell, but we need a short, right? So maybe in New Year we might get that. Let's look now, the GBP. So GA. Now this has dropped down out. We're going to get potentially a pushback up. This is where the British pound, I think, and when I put that article in, just saying that it's really weak off. You'll see. Oh, so there is no green triangle because we don't have a buy yet in it. And you're going to look for a long and a buy here. But at the moment, if you look across here, British pound strength against the AUD since around the 18th of August, it's been selling out. Now, it may come down a lot further. There's a lot of imbalance down through here, right? And it may still keep going. That means that the Aussie dollar will have to stay strong. I don't know. I think we're going to get a bounce back up. We'll see. But it'll have to give us some more indication to do that. And if we just look at this every day, you'll be able to see these things. I mean, it's just a daily check them. That's it. Pretty easy strategy, this. GBP CAD. If you're not into a sell already on this one, if you see... Well,
Sorry, Brian, I'm going to have to go as well, I'm afraid.
Go on, Helen.
So I will wish you both a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you. And you too.
See you in 2024.
Yeah, 2024. Let's surge on with that one. That'd
Absolutely.
be good.
Have a good one,
Right.
guys.
Thanks
Yeah.
a lot. Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, so sell short, and that would have been a good trade to be in. It did do that pullback. Can you see where you got the short and then it pulled back there and then sold out? So just typically you'll have that. The market will pull back up and take out stop losses and then drop off again. So this is coming to the other side of the channel. Probably not a good time to continue or to get into a sell if you're not. You will be waiting for a green triangle here and a long to get into a buy. Right, GBP CHF. Again, this one as well. This will be pushing out of the channel. This is where all the British pounds basically were. Now we won't have a triangle yet because we don't have any green buys, but we're going to have to look for that when that comes in. GBP JPY, more of a sideways movement. There was a long and a buy. You can see how there's long and then it's pulled back down again. There is imbalance up there. So yeah, this is more likely to now then pull up. So again, situation, putting a buy stop in wherever you feel you want to, either at the top of that one or the top of that or wherever. So GJ, if it continues down, well, you haven't lost anything. GBP NZD. Again, this is pushing down. You know, whether it pushes further, it's more likely to push back up. We don't have a long, but that's what I'd be looking for. Waiting for a green, a buy, a long, and potentially a little pullback. Depends on when you decide to get in. GBP Singapore. British pound going sideways. Don't want to get into that at the moment. If you look, we'll wait for the. Yeah, you've got sell short, but it's pulled back up again, broken it. Yeah. So this is potentially going to sell, but at the moment it's just doing that sideways. You really need a short in here. Yeah. And then see what happens with it. This is predicting for it to buy, but I don't know. For me, there's too many sells, like there was heaps of buys. See, there's sort of sideways stuff, and then it takes off. It's sort of sideways stuff in there. It'll either push up or potentially it's a saying that's going to push back down. GU. Again, this one as well. You can see where it's on the left. See how it's come up to this high here. Matched up that high. Get rid of that. And it's saying sell. And so it did a short, but it came back up. Lots of pairs have done this. And now it's looking to sell. So I'm going to look for a short on this and then get into that as a sell. It's predicting that it's going to, buy, but we'll see. And if you put a sell stop in and it continues up, well, again, you're not losing anything. I haven't got any sort of experienced trust with any of this prediction. So, right, NZD CAD. This is across the top. It's come up high. It looks like it will potentially sell, right? See the sideways? Now, we've got sells. We have a short, but it's pulled back. So I'm going to be waiting to see some sort of sell on this. And if it does, then the other NZDs will also follow. Yep. NZD CHF. See how it's all sideways. Yeah, it's come up, taken out the imbalances. It's now getting ready to sell. NZD JPY. Hang on, let's see if it builds out the channel. Right. So I was sell. This is in the middle. I wouldn't be trading this one at the moment. NZD USD. It just needs to be in extremes. This is the NZD USD. You can see where it's come up, take that imbalance right up to that point that I'd marked. We've now got a sell. Here we had a sell and a short, and then it just pushed back up. Again, another pair, just like the AUDs did that. I'm going to have to wait for a short on this. After that, we might get some more triangles and then a sell out. And then that's all of the NZDs. The Singapore Japanese yen, waiting for a buy on this. If you see, waiting for the channels. Yeah, buy, but we don't have a long as yet. When we do, into that USD CAD, like I said yesterday, it's pushed down further. And wait for the channels. Yeah. See how this is buy long, but it went into short and pushed back down again. Now we've got buy. We're going to need to get we'll need to get another triangle and potentially, you can see where the imbalance, most of that imbalance is taken out now. And along, get into this for a buy then from that point of view. USD CHF, again, this one is right down, getting ready for the buy. If you got into it there with that long, then you've been sucked in. So a buy stop on this. So I'm looking for another long on this and then buy back up. Yeah, buy there, sell there, another buy. UJ, this, oh, so annoying, this one. It's come down and taken it out. Now, this push down here, where price is now, if it doesn't break that low here, then potentially we're on the pathway back up again, right? The US dollar has been really weak in relation here, but at some point on this daily, it looks like it's going to turn. So it came up into mine, touched that point which I had. It's a previous high over here, and then has dropped down. Now I can't see the US dollar being too weak. It did do a little push up here, push back down, wait for another, there'll be another green triangle and some sort of it's well out. It's pushing well out of the channel. So we're going to get a push up on the UJ. I'm just probably in New Year. US Singapore, similar thing. See how it's come down to this point? We had a long and then it went short down, but also I'm looking at that to push back up. Let's see when it gets that. You can see how far out it is. There's numerous, but then this long, it pushed up and then it's come back. If you had your stop loss down at the low point, it would have stopped you out for sure. And then gold, you can see where gold is pushing itself back up again. And the reason why, so down at 2042 or up at 2042, because the US dollar is weak. But it's also saying sell, sell. So we'll follow that one as well. Gold will be a nice one. And Bitcoin, pushed back up in the last couple of days. It's up at 43,000 now from its dizzy heights of 68,000 or something. It's been interesting. That's been a big push up over the last month or so. Yeah. How's that, John? You got any particular questions?
Yeah, it's good. I'm just getting into the flow of the sort of getting into longer trades because obviously I started scalping and it's a different mindset. But it's one of those things where people say, you'll find out what sort of trader you are, and I quite enjoy both. I'm quite competent with the crossfire sort of stuff. They're sort of straightforward, and then I wanted to do this to keep in trades for a longer period of time. So it kind of makes a bit of sense with that. You get in on the hourly or the daily?
No, get in on the hourly, but I'm looking at the daily for when, so if you look at this, you look at this pair, for example, I got into that based on the hourly from here, right? So if you look at the daily here, we got sell, 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 and got the short, right? And then it started to sell out. And then I could see on here on the 1 hour that it had come down. So so for example, you could say on the daily, oh, there's a short, beauty, lovely, right? And you can see there's a little pullback. You can see that on the hourly much easier. So if you go like, oh, there's a short, great, I'm going to get in the trade, but you can see on the hourly it's pulling back up. Well, you're not going to get in until it actually starts to turn and give you a short to come back down again. So this is sort of giving you a direction. This is giving you more of an entry, sort of a tighter entry that doesn't give you sort of that pullback drawdown as much. Yeah. But then, the market comes back and knocks you out. So
as it does sometimes.
well, that's right. It's going to do that, whatever type of strategy you have.
Yeah.
Because that's how the big players make their money, by just pushing it around wherever they want.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Great stuff. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right.
In terms of your stop loss, where do you
Yeah.
put your stop losses? Do you put
Well,
the
yeah, well, what Darren's doing is he's putting stop loss up at the highest sort of initially when he gets into a trade, he's putting his stop loss up at whatever. So, okay, let's for example, here we'll come across here. That's what he's doing. I'll just say, for example, here, if you see you get sell, and you get the arrow and a short, he'll put his stop loss up at the highest. If you've got a number of them, he'll put it up at the highest triangle. That's where his stop loss will be initially. Right?
at the
For
top of
me,
at the top of the body,
at
not
the
the front?
triangle. Well, whatever, somewhere
Oh.
around the triangle, right? At the highest one. Say, for example, if you only have one, then his stop loss would be above that. Depends on
Yeah.
where the short comes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as it travels down, he'll then travel down his stop loss. He'll sort of trail it
Yeah.
from that. So for me, though, for me, I tend to go then and look, for example, in this situation, I put my stop loss above my previous high. So just above it, say on that orange line. And then when it spikes back and knocks me out, well, it knocks me out. So my thinking is, why should I put my stop loss up there? Yes, it will keep me in the trade, but I'll be in drawdown and potentially draw down for it to knock me out later even.
Yeah.
So the point I sort of think is, if you get into a trade and it's going to break the previous high, well, that means it's going to continue up anyway. So you might as well just get taken out at that point rather than drag the pain any further.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Yeah.
And then what I'm looking for, John, is I'll look on the 1 hour, for example, here. If you look, where is that short? It's around about here somewhere, right? So what I'm looking for on the 1 hour is, if I get into the trade here, for example, based upon what's on the daily, I'm looking to see whether the highs have been broken or if the lows are continuing. It's just to give me some sort of comfort in the fact that it's going in that direction. Doesn't mean it won't come back and knock me out, which it did in this pair up here. But the point is, I've made a decision to get in based upon market structure that I can see here. See how it pushed up, came back down, didn't break the high, pushed down, didn't break the high. Well, that's a good place to get in because it looks like it's continuing down. That's why I make a decision basically on the hourly of the actual time to enter as best I can, based upon what I'm seeing on the daily, as in an overall trend, direction, potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
No worries. More questions?
I'm just at the moment, I'm kind of taking it all in, and I know it's a fairly simple strategy, but it's just a case of just taking it in and then going and doing just get on the charts, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
As I said, just need to look at it once a day. That's all it is. And that's where the opportunity, we'll get in the trade. Like, it's not a difficult ask. It's just that the market sometimes will come and take you out. So,
do you find there's a certain time of day where trading is slightly favourable?
Yeah, sort of just pre-London Open.
Pre-London, yeah.
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 just
which is all the
pre-London or London Open sort of thing is the best sort of opportunity time on the alley for whatever's happening in the when it's optimum in from the daily perspective.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Okay. No
lovely.
worries. Well, I hope you
Mhm.
have a nice break too. I won't be back until say the first week or more of January. I think I'll just
Yeah,
have a few sleep-ins.
yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Because I've been getting up at sort of 5:45 every morning to do trading. So yeah, it's nice to have a bit of a lay in. So
Yeah. All right.
right.
No
All
worries.
right. Thanks,
Well,
Brian.
and until next time, John, thanks for hanging around, mate. See
You're
you then.
welcome, and have a nice break.
You
Cheers.
too. Bye-bye.